geography, history, and a troublemaking me. It's Rhyme and Reason 443. Hey there, Tony here, and as I record this, it's a Saturday, so another Saturday night, and I ain't got nobody. I got some money 'cause I just got paid. Now how I wish I had someone to talk to. And now for a little geography history. Wait, don't leave. I know you might be thinking, no, geography history, that sounds too boring. But I promise you, I'm not talking about dried up dead stuff. Well, maybe a little dried up, but not dead stuff. So stick with me, okay? Because I'm actually going to talk a little bit about Sam Cooke first. Sam Cooke, that was who wrote that song I was just singing, Another Saturday Night. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Gosh, Tony, you said you weren't going to talk about dead stuff, and then you bring up Sam Cooke. Isn't he dead? Plus, what in the world does Sam have to do with this? I know that's your voice. I just know it is. Well, Sam Cooke sang about geography, history, and even math. Yes, he did. Okay, I saw some Cook hands shooting through the air, and they had the same question. You guys had the same question. Well, who is Sam Cooke anyway? First of all, are you kidding me? Second, you got Google. You can look him up, And I just sang one of his songs, so there you go. I mean, that should have told you right there. And they're good. His songs are good. They really are, even after all this time. But thanks for bringing it up. Sam was a very popular singer-songwriter back in the 50s and 60s. And one of his top hits was a song called What a Wonderful World. Not the one that Satchmo sang. I see skies of blue. No, it's not that one. Here's some of the lyrics. Don't know much about geography, and don't know much about geography, and don't know much Don't know much about geography, and don't know much trigonometry. Don't know much about algebra. Don't know what a slide rule is for. Two lines in that section really do ring a bell with me. First, the slide rule. You heard that? Don't know what a slide rule is for? Now, I know it's part of the old stuff nobody uses anymore, but once upon a time, it was really the calculator of choice. Before they have all these fancy ones they got now that you can put in the palm of your hand and your phone. I even took a slide rule class in high school as an elective, by the way. It wasn't required. What? You took a slide rule class? What a nerd. I was actually kind of a nerd. But I got extra credits for it. I also took typing classes that I didn't have to take, and I got credit for that. I ended up with more credits than necessary for graduation, quite a bit more, I might say. Well, anyway, then there's the geography part. Sam Cooke was writing about geography. And that actually ended up being a touchy subject for me because I had a geography teacher who really liked me in his class. I mean, we were getting along because I participated. I was one of those, not the nerdy kind where, teacher, pick me, I know every answer. No, not that. But I did participate. I did like it. I enjoyed the class a lot. But I basically became a thorn in that teacher's side because of a little paper called the Weekly Reader. If you're, let's say, getting a little bit up there in years at least, you probably recall the Weekly Reader. About once a week, hey, wait a minute, could that be why it was called the Weekly Reader? We'd get this little so-called newspaper in our geography class, and we'd go over parts of it in the class. And after a few times of going over articles about evolution, as though they were factual, I took that paper home to show my dad. And of course, my dad was no fan of evolution, but like any dad would, he just told me to shut up so he could watch the game, right? No, not my dad. My dad scheduled a meeting, and he spoke before the school board. I remember him talking to me about it, how they put it in a horseshoe shape to intimidate him. The school board members sat at their little tables and desk, whatever it was, in a horseshoe shape so that he couldn't look at them all at the same time, like you'd look out at an audience. He had to turn in a semicircle, and he said, so I did. I'd start at one end, and I'd start talking, and I'd work my way around and talk to every one of them, and then I'd work my way back around. And that image came, it really stuck in my brain it's still there. I obviously still remember it. But I could see my dad doing that, and he was a salesman kind of guy, so he didn't have any problem looking people in the eye and talking to them and intimidating them with the way he would talk. So sometime later, this is a true story, the Weekly Reader was no longer an evolutionary resource in our geography class. It was no longer there. And my geography teacher no longer liked me in his class. Apparently, he found out about how it all happened, and since he preferred to stick with that whole evolution thing, I guess I sort of became a nemesis rather than a friend. But such is life. I found out about geography, learned a bit about cartography, studied silly evolution too, going from the goo and zoo to you, but it didn't make a bit of sense, and I couldn't sit up on the fence, and if everybody else could see what a wonderful world this would be. Okay, that's my Sam Cooke for you for this week on the Rhyme and Reason podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. To all my lunacy and evolutionary lunacy, thank you so much. I appreciate it. It means the world to me that you're there, tuning in, telling friends and neighbors and relatives and anybody you care about the Rhyme and Reason podcast. They got to tune in. It's all free, man. How about that? You don't even have to listen to commercials, basically. But it is brought to you by Tony Funderburk, maker of fine books and merch, words and music, and rhymes and reasons. Thank you so much again. And remember, life has rhyme and reason because, say it with me, God made you.